Hello, this is Devo. I'm just recording something for you guys. I want you to know where it all started. For those of you who have been watching my channel, my apologies, guys. I haven't made a video in English for a while. I think it was the last time I said something in English was my success story from Jeff and Shaleia. And now I'm gonna basically stand up here where I can show you where my journey started. For those of you who have been following me or know me to some extent by now, know that when in 2017 I quit my job to move to Germany, something that of course failed miserably, or some would say. And that pretty much pushed me to come back to my mom's place, and this is where she was living at that moment. So now it's empty after she passed away last December. We basically took everything out, sold the most we could. It's just some basic stuff laying around, but nothing more to it. And so let's start from the beginning, shall we? I will seek to, I'm not in my best shape, so hi guys, this is my Sunday face. A humid Sunday afternoon in Buenos Aires, so my apologies for the hair, no makeup, very raw, very transparent and clear. So as I was telling you guys, I basically put everything on the line. Try to make a living in Germany. I went with my kid for 3 months. That was about the time we had without a visa or any European citizenship. That was like side note. I was tramiting it. I was applying for it back then, and I was told it would be like ready between 3 or 5 months tops. So with that in mind, I kind of went over my head. Oopsie. And basically just went for it. I quit my job, as I said. It was by basically March 2017 I will stop working where I was. And after I did that, everything started crumbling down because I realized I didn't have the papers to stay in Germany. So I was like, oh, fuck. There's no language thingy here, so okay, I cannot switch it, so you will have to bear with me. Oh crap. Wait a minute. There we go. Oh, that one blinded me a little bit. So basically, going back to the story, I just quit my job, and then I realized I couldn't really move to Germany because I didn't have the papers to stay. So I was kind of praying that the citizenship will come through, which of course didn't. And so months went by, and basically what I did was, let's see if I can find a place where to put my phone down a little bit, because to be honest, it's killing my arm. Oh shoot, there's no great angle here that I can work with without this falling. Okay, now I would, again, there you go. I will have to do with what. Let's roll with it, okay? So basically, where was I? Okay, months were going by. I started applying for another job, which of course I couldn't get one. And money from the savings that I had to basically move to Germany with my son started flying out the window. Just in the basics, like some grocery shopping and yada yada and all that stuff. Let's see if I can take a seat up here, and I will give you guys a tour later. So there we go. Much better. I love it. I love it when I get to sit a little bit. Calms me down. So where was I? Okay, so basically shit started to fall apart. And so by September I was like up to, or down to 2 options, better said. These were eat up whatever remaining of my savings I had,
or take that same money and go to Germany and stay there for 3 months and try to make it, while hoping that the citizenship will come through before us having to come back. Of course, none of that worked. By the end of November, November, beginning of December, we traveled back to Argentina on December the 2nd. We basically arrived with nothing. Suitcase, backpack, whatever crap was laying in a bag, and my crushed dreams. And I like to be dramatic, so it's emphasizing the story. One hand covering up my ass and another one grabbing my hand, my son's hand, basically. So I arrived at Buenos Aires, where I live, still living currently, at the time of this video. And the only place I had left to go, because I had to resign my the lease on my apartment, like the one that I was renting, was my mom. And so, I got comfortable sitting down. Okay, I'm gonna have to stand up and show you. So basically, come with me. Basically, this is the kitchen. You have to picture like a fridge there, pretty much covering all the space at the end of the kitchen. This is the place where my mom's caregivers and I will pretty much do our best to dance around each other and prepare our meals. There wasn't really much space to move. It seems bigger than what it is, but once you get the whole crap, like there was a microwave over there and some crap laying there, and then there was the fridge. It was a huge fridge, by the way. It's like very tall. Like here's where all of it started. You got a picture, a couple like drawers over here that were mine that my mom took to this place because it was purposeful, and a bunch of crap from my sister laying around there, bunch of boxes everywhere, especially here. Like this was supposed to be a balcony, and it's empty now, but for most of the time it was buried under my sister's bags and boxes that she never took in her 5 years of living in another city quite far from Buenos Aires. So going back to our starting point, this is where I was sitting down and talking to you guys just now. Basic table, 2 chairs, we had our meals, there was like a thingy, I don't know how to call it, one of these, but there, with my mom's like medicines and such. She will oftentimes at the beginning be sitting here with her wheelchair and her head pretty much banged against the table because she couldn't really keep herself straight. And so there was a desk with a computer and a bed with the one that has like the rolling one that you can take from under, with what one could call a mattress. To me it was kind of the same as a piece of cardboard, but anyway, it was a mattress, let's call it a mattress, and that's where my son and I pretty much slept the first 2 or 3 months of our staying here. We got to stay here for up to 2 years, basically because nobody wanted to throw a single mom with no job to the street, because we couldn't stay here. Like this apartment belongs to a group of people who offer a place to live for elderly, and so you only get to stay here if you're over 56 years old. So I was 34. Crap, how old was I? 35, no, 33, 34. And my son, of course, was 5, 6 years, so neither of us could really stay here. So this is the bathroom. I'm not gonna go very further. It's like basic. Might not be in the best shape. is non-functioning for a couple months now, so it doesn't kind of messy. And this used to be my mom's bedroom. That's the beloved mattress that my mom was using until she realized it was way too big for her, and I manifested her giving it to me and trading it for the mattress that we were using, which was very small for 2 people to sleep in. But yeah, basically you can just picture her bed there, the smaller bed that was in the living room, like we switched over. She basically gave the wooden thing that will contain the mattress, so we will put this on the floor and we'll sleep on it on the floor with my son. And these ones, like thingies here, were the ones that prevented my mom's bed to moving every time the caregivers will have to flip her over. Because last year my mom couldn't really move on her own, so she would pretty much be in bed every single minute of her remaining days. And there are a couple, like bunch of stuff that I still have to figure out what to do with them. I'm gonna take that red chair though with me. Like, that's the whole reason I'm here is for that red chair today. But I thought it was a good idea to give you guys a tour and a picture of, oh, there was like an air conditioner there that we sold. It was very nice to give you an idea where it all started. I met Jeff and Shaleia basically around this corner here. This is where our bed was at the beginning when we first came to Buenos Aires. And in this same spot here, right about here, was when I basically read their book in 2 or 3 days tops. I couldn't get my hands off of it. And as you've seen in my success story, that book led me to basically the Facebook group, the Twin Flame Universe Open Forum, and from there to the classes. And after choosing to invest in the classes in a moment where it seemed like the craziest shit I could possibly be doing, you have to imagine that at that time $1 equaled 35 pesos. So whatever amount of money the products costed back then, you have to multiply that for 35 times to give you an impression of the money that I was choosing to invest in a moment where I didn't have a job. I had no savings anymore. And I did it out of pure faith that I will find a job very soon that will allow me to pay for that debt. Credit card debt that I'm still working to pay off, by the way. But anyway, so here I'm showing you this particular spot because, as I said, there was the desk with a computer. And in that particular spot, I started basically my coaching training. In that same spot, alongside the bed or the mattress that was like laying there, those are the spots that saw my upcoming as a coach. I learned the mirror exercise. I would work with people. When my mom was still using her wheelchair and will still be here, I will use her bedroom as an office, just for 1 or 2 hours so that I can coach. At the beginning it was for free in exchange for testimonials from my former clients. These are people who didn't keep working with me, but that's fine. That's part of the process sometimes. And so in that desk I learned how to lead a discussion group. I started translating Jeff and Shaleia's book, even though now that's gone to some other members of the Twin Flame Universe Spanish team. Like everything that got me to where I am started in that spot, that one right there. And so I know that this is important. It's important to have a registry, so to speak, on the places that you find yourself beginning, especially when you are embracing your life purpose, your twin flame journey. Most times this will be sparkled up, if that is even a word, by a tremendous crisis, a life-changing crisis. And it doesn't always seem pretty, it doesn't always look pretty on the outside, and it's quite humbling, as you can see. I didn't have privacy, intimacy, there was no room for my son and I, we were just sleeping on a living room. Didn't have much, just a couple suitcases and everything was stuffed there. My son had like one box with toys and that was pretty much it. It's anything that survived our previous moving when I left the apartment I was renting. And I can certainly find pictures that I can kind of like make pop in this video so that you know what we had and before the trip and what we came to after the trip and where we are now. So I'm gonna share with you where we are now. I will come back to sitting because it may take a while. Oh, there we go, much better, I love it. So where are we now? The rest of the story is what happened after my mom passed away last December. So with my mom being gone, we were offered to stay here for another 6 months stop. The only requirement was that I paid for the apartment's, I would say amenities, like gas, light, the phone bill, and etc., and the thingy that you pay every month to the owners of the apartment so that they can pay everyone who works in the building and all the stuff. And this was basically between second half of December and the first half of January. I wasn't manifesting many clients nor money. I was barely gathering whatever money I could grab my hands on by selling the stuff that we split up with my sister because she came to the city to, of course, like say farewell to my mom. Supposedly, I'm gonna put a pin on that. And then of course kind of like, okay, go 50-50 whatever was remaining, so there was an easy resolving of the situation, since we never really managed to agree on many things. So this will save us a lot of arguments. Anyway, I was selling my share of the stuff and I was getting money from there, and at the same time we were having to gather money to pay back my mom's last retirement check, because funny story, that money came in the same day my mom was passing away, so we couldn't really get to keep it. We had to leave it on the bank. Well, of course we didn't do that. We snatched it up like super fast, and then it turned out we have to give it back, and we started using some of that money to cover for the funerals expenses and such. So I was like going bananas. I wasn't sure I was going to see any money. Bathroom started breaking down, we couldn't use it. My sister, in her brilliance, your insanity, sold the fridge, so we didn't have anywhere where to put our food. We will have to use the fridge for the people who work in the building, who very kindly, and thank you guys. I know you are not going to see this video, and if you do, you are not going to understand a word of what I'm saying, because most of you do not speak a word of English, but I'm eternally grateful for your kindness and helping us use the fridge for our food during the summer, which can be quite hot here. So anyway, No fridge, no bathroom, no money. I was going like completely crazy, and I was like, where am I going to stay? Where am I going to stay? I don't really have that much money to sustain myself and my kid and buy ourselves the food that we need for the whole month. I started like knocking on doors, went to some sort of family shelters. They are not called like that in Spanish, but you get the picture. I'm gonna call it like that. And what is ironic is that most of those places won't receive you with a kid, with children. So it was like, okay, where am I going to live if you don't allow me to rent a room with my child? And there was a moment where I was like, okay, I surrender here. I have like no idea. I already crossed or double checked my options here, so where am I going to next? And I distinctly heard God saying, go to your grandmother. This is my dad's mom. And I was like, okay, there's nowhere else to go, let's go there. And I sure, I trust God that it's going to be purposeful. There's going to be something for everyone involved. So I basically gave my keys, basically, like sort of speaking. I said I will be staying here, and I moved in with my grandmother, and we stayed there till very recently. This was before the pandemic, and it was March. We were about to sell my mom's apartment, which would have solved a lot of problems, like almost instantly. When the pandemic hit and we got on lockdown and pretty much everything was put on standby. Up until this day, the apartment, of course, isn't sold because you see me, that I can come and just like come and go as I please. So we stayed with my grandmother, and I had to work through the challenges of living with her and being in the presence of someone who wouldn't choose love at the core. Like when cornered until the end, at the very end, it was very clear that my grandmother wouldn't choose love. I would. We had like no idea how long we would stay there. That was the truth. Until my kid's dad, he's been working all these months kind of silently and on the sides to build a little home in the same area, how you would call it parcel as his dad's. So he was paying for materials. His dad, my kid's grandfather, was helping build a little home where they can stay, because renting in the city is quite expensive, and he's having abundance issues. So this was supposed to be over by August, September perhaps, and it got finished by July. And so my dad's kid once told me at the beginning of July, end of June, beginning of July, he was like, okay, we might be able to move with Dante, but in the first few days, like the very first few days of August, the first week. And I was like, okay, hopefully this will come across, because we are talking about a man who's many times said he would do something and then fall out or wouldn't keep his word. So I was like, okay, let's hope this works, because this situation with my grandmother and my son was becoming quite unsustainable. It stopped being compassion for every one of us. It was very hard for me to work. They were like picking on each other's throats and pulling each other's legs all the time. And my grandmother is an 85-year-old person who is kind of tired of life, so being around a 7-year-old who is kind of eclectic and full of energy, it's not always the easiest. So I don't know, we were talking with his dad or whatever, and he's like, okay, I think Dante will be able to come with us and move into our new home the same day that the moving truck comes. And I was like, okay, sure, that's 2 weeks earlier, so by all means. And that was 2 weeks ago. After my kid moved, it started to be really clear that it was time for me to move out from my grandmother's as well. So I started looking for options. And since I am barely like kind of starting, and I don't really have over a year experience that I can actually account for in papers, the option was to look for an Airbnb, one that I could stay long term, which I found. And I'll be showing it to you probably following this next video. So, point being of this whole thing was to show you a piece of my journey, so that you can see what it's like to work through your blocks and upsets and persist on it and never give up. And I'm not saying it was easy, and a lot of people in the community, a lot of the coaches in the association, you can ask anyone, they will tell you, I wasn't always easy. I felt like giving up way more times than I can actually count, but I didn't. I kept working through it. And the apartment that you're about to see when I edit this, and you get to see the transition, even though that apartment is not mine, I will continue working towards the goal of having my own home, my own house, whatever and whatever that might be and look like. There is a huge difference, and I want you to see it. This apartment, my mom's place, was enough for where I was standing back then, for what I was needing back then, which was to get myself back on my feet. And it took probably longer than necessary, because it took me a lot of time, and it required a lot of me to actually choose to change how I was seeing things. Oftentimes I would rather fall for my upsets and say that I wasn't feeling supported in this place because all of the things that I wanted and that I couldn't really find here. But I couldn't really find here. But it was only when I started shifting that perception and realizing that I did have everything I needed. Maybe not everything I wanted, but everything I needed, I was receiving it. I had a roof over my head, I had food, my mom was basically paying for most of it. I had a place where my kid could sleep safe. And we managed to manifest a school 7 blocks away from here. So it was easy for me to take him to school back and forth, without having to pay for buses or anything. And there's something else I want to show you. I'm gonna go to the window, the one that's there, that one, and I'm gonna show you guys. My apologies that perhaps this is a long video, but I think it's worth it. You see that, whatever we can call that, I don't know if that it's like a patio or whatever, but you see those benches, and there's another one like under those trees there. Like, wait, where's my finger? Like right under those trees, there's another bench. I'm gonna see if I can find a better angle to show you guys. In that little backyard, park, or however you want to call it, this belongs to the building, by the way, is where I started shooting my first videos. That's where I started shooting my first videos. It wasn't in an office, it wasn't in a fancy place,
Sometimes you can hear the noise of the cars on the other street. Today is Sunday, so there isn't much traffic, and with lockdown and everything, there is like very, could be less traffic, but anyway, you got the point. So this is where I started. In the most humbling place possible for a single mom. And I always emphasize that because being a single parent, or most of you, if you've been or are going through that experience, you know how difficult it can be and how you sometimes feel like you have no support and you have to be the one doing everything. But you are supported. I don't know how, but you are. You simply are. Whether you can pay for it or not, you always have everything you need. And so my invitation, before showing you the new apartment, my invitation here is that you take a good look around at where you are at now, and in whichever possible way that it's affordable to you. And I don't mean affordable in money, I mean affordable in energy, in attention, concentration, in capability, in awareness, in whatever you want to put it, but it's not in money. In whichever you can afford, I want to invite you to take a look around at where you're at now and choose to see that you are receiving everything you need to move forward in that place. You might not be perfect when you compare it to the image that you have in your mind, with the desire that you have in your heart. But trust me, it is giving you everything you need so that you can actually take that step forward. And that is one of the keys to manifesting your abundance, the one that will allow you to move further and forward. With this being said, I'm gonna just leave it here, and I will continue this video in the new apartment that I'm renting, in the one that I just moved in last Wednesday. So it's less than a week that I've been there. I'm still like settling down and grounding into it and feeling so loved. I am feeling so loved by that apartment. Like, it has everything that I need, and I can start like sharing with you the pre-basics, or I can just like, I wanna show you. I wanna tell you about it a little bit now, but I'm gonna probably be repeating myself when I shoot that video. So you will have to stick with me and bear with me. You like me already. You wouldn't be watching my channel if you wouldn't. So anyway, that's true. So you don't hear someone mumbling for 35 minutes or whatever amount this video is taking, just because there's something here and you know it. So that's why you're sticking with me. So basically, in the new place, I do have a fridge. It has a freezer, very important. And you leave off of preparing beforehand some stuff, and you need to cool them there. It has it doesn't have like a like a washing machine, but there's a laundry room I can actually use. So kudos for that. And it has a bathtub. If you were paying very little attention to the bathroom, you'll see there was no bathtub at my mom's, and at my grandmother there was one, but like I usually take like 1 hour long baths when I use the bathtub, so I didn't dare go that far. I have a bathtub. I have a beautiful apartment. It has a very little kitchen, has an oven. It's an electric one. I'm very used to gas, but whatever, man, electric one works just fine for me. And I can usually use the oven, not just the stove, but the oven. Something I couldn't do at my grandmother. And what else?
And there has a balcony, also very important for someone who lives in the city and doesn't really have a backyard or anything like that. It's very nice to have a balcony that you can actually go for to get some fresh air. So I'm gonna show you all that in the following moments, okay? So I'm gonna turn this one down and I'll see you in the next half of the video.
Nice. Let me get the camera. Okay. So here's where it starts. You can see the door, our lovely door. It's an actual door. You have like those special keys. I'm gonna show you because I don't know about you or where you live, if this is common or not, but here in Argentina you still can find like either like those one who are like the thicker doors and are supposedly more like secure and more difficult to break in or whatever. Now that I'm calling that in, but it's nice to have a nice door. And then like this is the wardrobe. You can take a look at my lovely clothes. But this is not the reason why I'm showing you this. It's a little bit messy. I'm still finding like what to put where in a more appropriate way, but for now it's serving its purpose. And you can see, I'm not gonna show you my sexy underwear, don't worry. Like I actually have some drawers that I can put my stuff in, because all of this that you're finding here, everything that you are seeing, that I'm showing you, like my socks and my pullovers and sweaters and blah blah, t-shirts, pajamas on the last drawer. This was all packed. These are like new towels that I was given when I arrived at the apartment. But you might want to know that this is an Airbnb. Of course, this is not my actual place. Like I didn't bought it, but it's a stepping stone to where I'm heading, which is eventually my own place. Like I'm showing you this because for 3 years everything was packed in there, and I actually finally get the chance to dress whatever I want instead of whatever I can, because it would be way too messy to like put stuff in and out. Like this is the bathroom. I'm gonna give you a little tour on the bathroom. Let's see if that's as far as it goes. So okay, there you have some lighting so you can see. You see, I also have this. This was all in my suitcase. Everything except for this that I used to brush my teeth with. So it has to be like easily to grab. I got this one out of my suitcase as well. It's been with me for the last 20 years, and it's like my bathrobe, but it gives me such comfort. So I enjoy having it hanging finally, and I get to use it whenever I get out of the shower, or if I'm feeling a PB and I just want to feel like loved and like warm and cozy. I just put this one, like I throw it on and I use it. So hey. And this is like bathtub. I actually have a brand new beautiful bathtub. Okay, it's funny that I don't fit in, but this is like regular size, and I'm not regular size. I don't know how tall I am in feet, but I'm over like 170 if you measure with meters, so in centimeters. So like either my head fits or my knees, but anyway, that's just like cracking some, breaking the ice. I get like my shampoo and stuff, and I get to use this one. People, I haven't had a salt bath in like forever. It's been 3 long years, a little bit more, 3.5, that I haven't been able to enjoy an appropriate bathtub. The thingy, this blue thingy, is so that I wouldn't crack my skull when this gets slippery while I shower. So don't pay attention. It's not the most aesthetic thing that I have laying around, but it serves its purpose, so I don't give a fuck. you have an actual shower. And the funny thing is that for the last 3 years, and I keep repeating 3 years so that you get an idea of what I'm sharing through all, like, that I'm showing you here. This one, actually, I don't have to fight over whether the water comes hot or cold or in between. I can actually have the temperature I desire when I'm showering, which hasn't been occurring in a while, like for over 4 years, because even when I was living in another apartment that I was renting, water still was a kind of tricky stuff, so it wasn't always working in the best way possible. I'm gonna like take a moment here and like, oh, there we go, much better. So okay, this one was the bathroom. I'm gonna take you guys to the next part of the apartment. As you can see, it's all painted new. Everything is new. Everything is new. So what you can see here, you can see, I'm gonna show you like closer then, but you can see the bed, like it's a 1-room apartment, but who gives a crap? It's all mine. It's all to myself. You have the bed, a very comfortable, very supportive bed, big enough to fit 2 people, but I get to use it all on my own. One of my long-term dreams. I have like the furniture with the TV that was already here. The figurines are mine. I brought it from my mom's. We have a nice mirror. We are going to walk through that, and I will tell you the story behind this couch, because this one is new. I just got it. And the most interesting thing, I didn't even have to pay for it. So this is the kitchen. Everything, as I said, brand new. Stuff to cook, the oven and the stove. Like I can actually cook something here, not just in the stoves. I can actually use the oven to cook. Like I can bake a cake if I want. Something that I only could do at my mom's, but not at my grandmother, because hers was broken and she never took the time to love herself in that way and having it fixed. So this is like, don't mind this. I'm just grounding into the apartment and grounding into the fact that I don't have to jump and get everything clean right away. I can actually do it when I feel called to and when I want, instead of when I'm being forced to. It's just part of my process. Don't worry about it. Are wonderful things to cook: salt, sugar, oil, stuff. I'm gonna show you this. Like there's like chips and little pretzels and some bananas and some like the mix that you put on your yogurt and stuff like that. Oh, this one is to drink mate. Those who've been in Argentina know that we drink mate and we love it. Most of us, at least. I can show you later, like in another video. Perhaps I can create one like drinking a mate so that you know it. And this is the fridge. Very recently I got like very stashed with. Like I got juices. I got like different juices with orange and different fruits. I have like apple one, different milks, some veggies, some fruits, some bread, and yada yada to eat. I can show you the freezer. Like the fridge is new as well, and I have a freezer. I can keep things here for longer. So there's some chicken and fish and some stuff laying around that I can actually like grab onto, and whenever I want I can just like throw it in the stove and cook. Okay, I'm gonna take a moment here. I'm gonna ground with you guys before continuing. And I'm gonna explain to you, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna explain to you why I am creating this video and showing you all this, and why I keep insisting on the amount of time that it took me to get to this place. I'm gonna choose to ground a little bit more, because I wanna share a lot, but I kind of, and never mind. The reason I'm showing you all this is to show you the contrast that I had to go through. 3 years ago, for those of you following my story, you know that I've been through a life crisis, that I had a life plan that didn't quite work out at the moment back then, and then I pretty much tried to control it and force it, went overseas, and when I had no choice but to come back, and when I did, I was broke, basically. It was my son, a suitcase, a backpack, a purse, me, and that was pretty much it. I had nothing else left. I had to go back to my mom's. And it took 3 years for me to manifest a place such as this one that I'm showing you right now. And I did this by following my heart and choosing to walk through the open doors, and that meant embracing who I am and embracing my life purpose and embracing doing what I love, and has been building up in these 2.5 years, 3 years that I've been a student of Jeff and Shaleia, and that I've known their body of work, and I've been applying their teachings to the best of my abilities. And 3 years ago, when I came down that airplane with one hand like covering both my ass and my front lady parts. It's kind of an expression we have here in Argentina. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but basically that means that you have nothing. Like, you have no money, you are completely unable to provide for yourself and your family. So basically that was me, broke as fuck. Internally and financially speaking, very important to mention. I went back to my mom. I had to learn to live with that situation and learn that I was being supported, even if it didn't look like it on the outside, but still. Back then, when you have no money and you have no job, it's very difficult for you to foresee how on earth you're going to pay for basic stuff such as food, a place where to stay, where to sleep, something to wear so that you don't go bare naked on the street. Some other aspects are still being on a work in progress. I don't have a medical insurance, for instance, or my credit card debt is still on its way to being paid. But I have confidence that I'm just gonna move through it and I will achieve it when the time is right, so to speak. So, going back to what I was saying, 3 years ago, I was broke. Back then I couldn't even see how I would be able to pay for my basic needs and my son's. I was living under my mom's roof again, and I had to work through my resistance in being supported through others, because of all the background that I also had with my mom, like all my issues and my blocks and unresolved wounds with her and stuff. And because of the choices she was making that were so opposing to the choices I was making throughout my life. But anyway, that was a path that had to be taken and walked. So to keep it as simple as I can, I know that sometimes I can talk a lot. I want to portray that, I want to emphasize that I had nowhere to go. I could as well be on the streets, as I was sharing you in the previous video that I made when I was showing you around my mom's place. And yet here I am. I'm in this gorgeous apartment, the city of Buenos Aires, where I've always lived, 7 blocks away from my mom's place, a little farther from my grandmother's, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't really change anything. In a completely equipped apartment. All its furniture, everything is brand new, everything feels very supportive and very nurturing. I feel like sharing the story of the couch with you. I'm gonna do that and finish up this idea at the end of the video, okay? So let's just like put a pin on it and walk with me, and I can share the rest of it. You've already seen it. There's not much left to show, so it shouldn't be taking much. Just gonna grab these, and then it's like my oracle card decks. I have to keep this one from moving a little bit so that there we go, much better. And some nice flowers that I can buy for myself and make the place look prettier or even smell nicer. And so I was sharing, you have like a flat screen. I can actually watch Jeff and Shaleia's classes here for the first time ever since I got them, because prior to this I would watch them in the computer with a teeny tiny screen that I have to split into because I take notes, so it's half a word and half the videos, and now I get to see, like, watch them here while I am relaxing on this wonderful bed that I've been desiring for very, very long. I got to bring my rocks. Here's one. I have another one there. I have my Ganesh, like my wonderful Ganesh, one of my mom's last birthday gifts for me, and my Buddha. And I get to watch them like when I wake up in the morning, when I go to sleep. I get to see these two figurines that to me are very important. Like, I love Buddha. I learned from him when I was 18. I knew about him. And Ganesh it's I don't know. He's been visiting sometimes, so I'm very, very keen to building a relationship with Ganesh. And it's its symbolism. So you got a picture this apartment, and I can probably show you a picture of how I saw it on internet, because again, it's Airbnb, so I don't think there's a problem. There's my improvised office, as you can see. I use the nightstand as an extension of my desk, as well as the stool. And the funny thing is, I'm gonna take a seat. The funny thing with this one is that there was no couch. There was a pretty much blank spot. There was nothing. It was an empty spot. That's what I meant. So the nightstand was, of course, nearby the bed. The bed was a little bit more towards like that side of the apartment, and I will just manage. I actually, when I show you the balcony, now it's getting dark, so I don't know if you are going to see the balcony, but it has a balcony anyway. Yeah, I can show you the balcony. My apologies for the messy. It's perhaps not the best view of Buenos Aires, I give you that. But I don't know about you guys, but I've never lived in a house. All my life I've lived in an apartment. So having a balcony, especially when spring and summer are around the corner, it's very important. I love to have my free space in a balcony, and like that's the old chair, my old desk chair that I brought here so that I can be a little bit more comfortable when I was working several hours straight. So the whole thing was, okay, I just brought that chair, but the idea was to get myself a one-person couch. Kind of like the ones that you've seen in, well, if you are watching this and you are a subscribed student to both Life Purpose class and or TIFAS, you know that the kind of couches that Jeff and Shaleia sit on when they give their classes, or even the sermons if you are watching the Church of Union Sunday sermons. So anyway, I wanted something like that, something that felt very supportive, that I can actually spend several hours sitting in, and I can work without having to worry about my back getting hurt or anything. And I was kind of in this Argentinian version of a Craigslist we have, sort of. It's not a Craigslist per se, but it works, I think, similar to it. And I was looking for a couch. I was like, okay, tapping into it, feeling into the kind of couch that I wanted. I wanted to make sure that I invested my money wisely instead of just spending it and buying something in a rush. And yesterday, this was for like today is Wednesday. Let's say the last weekend I've been watching couches. Nothing really convinced me. I know I had a clear mental image of what I was looking for, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it, and when I did, um, it was like I had to buy 4 of them altogether. I couldn't buy just one. So yesterday I called the girl who manages the place, and I was asking her a bunch of questions regarding like laundry and all the stuff, because of course there's no washing machine, but there is a laundry room that I can actually use and have access to. So it's just me getting with laundry and some soap and just put everything together. And there's a dryer, I think. So in what, like 2 hours, 3 hours, less than that, I have no idea, I can have my clothes be freshly washed and ready to be put away into in the wardrobe. So coming back to the couch story, the story with the couch, my arm is getting tired from holding the phone. I was talking to her about all this other stuff, and I mentioned that I was considering the idea of purchasing a couch, a small one for myself, and that we can like talk about it. What I would do with the couch by the time that I must hand over the apartment. And she very casually brought it up that there was a couch for this apartment, but they didn't put it because it would, like, as you can see, it's kind of cladded between 2 large pieces of furniture. But she was like, hey, if you want it, it's all yours. You can have it. It's just on the other side, like on the apartment that is right on the other side of this wall. So it was just like bringing it in was a piece of cake. And it's a very nice couch, actually. I feel it's very supportive. I can spend there hours straight, sitting with my computer on my lap and just like interact with people and moderate the Twin Flame Universe Spanish group or international group when I get my hands on that. I can watch something if I want, the computer, but now that I have the cable, it doesn't seem very necessary. I can actually use the TV screen that is wider. And I'm sharing this because, as well as I was sharing the full fridge and the fact that I can support myself and nurture myself through the things that I have to eat, there's not a single thing in this apartment that isn't supporting me in my next steps. And that couch was a wonderful godly manifestation. I was looking for a couch. I didn't have to buy one. I just had to be open to the idea of investing the money that I budgeted into getting a couch, and God, instead of giving me something that I would have to get rid of, perhaps in a distant future, or not so distant, that's up to Him, I actually got to manifest a couch. I didn't even have to pay for it, and it's perfect. It fits perfectly. It is wonderful. It's a wonderful couch. I feel very comfortable in it, and I love enjoying it and like kind of relaxing into it and sitting there and having like reading. You can see one of my books that I'm currently reading, which I highly recommend. I've learned about this book thanks to my teacher Shaleia. You can see my notes. I just had a meeting, so I kind of left everything like right there, and you can see my improvised. I'm gonna come to this side, and you get to improv. Like you can see my impromptu office. Like this is my office. You get the little thingy for me lighting up my videos when I create them. And the cell phone holder, and this is like my computer, and this is private, so I'm gonna choose to keep it private. But anyway, as you can see, I'm gonna continue sharing my story, whatever's left of this video from here, which um you can have this too, guys. You can manifest, whether it's a rental, whether it's an Airbnb, whether it's the house or apartment that you want to buy for you and your family, or for you alone, doesn't matter. You can go from nothing to everything, just following simple steps. And it's a process, but you can so accomplish it. Like, I'm no better than you guys, just a person on the other side of the ocean at some random part in the globe, doing what she loves and being supported in doing that, and in growing and expanding that. So I want to invite you all watching this to give yourself the chance to transform your life for the better. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna turn it over so I don't have to hold it like a sucker. I hope you are seeing me right. So you don't have to struggle through life. You can actually embrace what you love doing and sharing with the world. And it doesn't mean that it's going to happen overnight. You are going to have to work for it and through it. You are going to come up with blocks and with your perhaps even fears, like your worst nightmares. But with 4 simple steps, and my teacher's body of work is brilliant to help you, like, get you from A to B, from I am broke or major life crisis or whatever that might be. It can bring you back to life. Actual life, not survival. Actual living and thriving. And seeing and opening up to your ability to receive love and support, because I can assure you, whether you want to call it universe, God, whichever name you want to give it, it wants to support you. It wants to see you thrive. And this is, like, I'm not saying anything new. For those who've been following Jeff and Shaleia, they've been talking about this all along. So it's just a matter of embracing the teachings and just putting them to use, into practice, basically. Get yourself a coach. Work with a coach. I'm a coach, but if you don't like me, if you don't resonate with me, there are other 40 coaches who are certified, who have been doing the work, who know it inside and out, and they keep learning it, and they know how to take you from A to B by the hand, so that you can start improving your life too. You don't have to live in misery. Why would you suffer? Why would you choose to suffer when you can have it all? So I don't know if there's anything remaining to say. Perhaps there is, but I will find ways to share it with you, whether it's through a post in the open forum, which you are more than invited to join if you haven't done so yet. If you speak Spanish, you will find the video, like the same one, but in Spanish. Don't worry about it. What else? Just choosing to extend that invitation for you to embrace this. I'm not saying I have everything figured out, but I know it will. I still got 2 or 3 things that I have to take care of, and by I have to take care of means I have to let God show me the way so that we can both take care of it, and it's going to be taken care of. This right here, it's a great achievement, and one of the reasons I wanted to share it with you, because for me, having manifested this apartment is sort of a breaking point in some way. I've been realizing more and more that there's a turning point, as I was saying. There's a place that I just got out of that I'm probably not gonna go back to. And from this day, this moment, this point in my time space as a human being is just forward. And it will start to improve and get better and better and better and better. And it can be the same for you. If I have to summarize it, it's not an overnight success, okay? It wasn't. But if you're willing to love yourself and invest in yourself, everything that you have and everything that you are, because you know that it doesn't matter what you believe about yourself. Deep down at the core, you know you're worth seeing all your dreams come true. Then choose to walk this path. Choose to embrace it. Choose to do yourself a favor and come here and invest all of yourself in this, because you may be seeing this video and feeling like I was feeling 3 years ago. Like you've lost it all. Everything that you've been working so hard to build, everything was like shattered, gone in a split of a second. And you have no idea where to go, how to begin, where to start, if you are ever going to have even an inch of what you used to have. And I hope that this video is a testament that you can build your empire back, as I always say. You can have it all. Just knowing how to take the appropriate steps that will propel you there. And I'm not even inventing anything here. I'm just riffing off something that even Jeff and Shaleia did back in the days when they were going through their own journeys. They were sharing the places they've been living in and the shifts that they were making their life purposes or life purpose. They share one as one. And the upgrades in their lives. And it's not just for them. And it's not just for me or just the 40 coaches in Twinkling Universe that are working alongside Jeff and Shaleia to bring these teachings to the world. This can be your story too. And I know that I would love to know that story. I would love to hear you be on the other side of this camera one day and saying, okay, I applied this and I did it. I got back into my 2 feet and I just did it. And I got everything I wanted and more. And I know I will continue to receive more, and I will choose to embrace that too and enjoy it. So I want to leave you with this quote, and it's in one of life purposes classes or one in TIPAS. I don't know anymore. To me they are like one huge school. But it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So you don't make a journey just to enjoy having returned to your home after you've done all of it. You choose to embark on a journey because you want to enjoy the experience of moving through it each step of the way. And life, you've heard it many times probably. If you're watching this channel, this is not a news flash for you. Life is a journey. Apart from being a school, it's also a journey. So when you relax into it and you embrace it and you choose to love yourself and to find your peace above all, once you start there, everything else just comes as an attached upgrade, if you will. I don't know what's the appropriate word that I'm looking for. It's kind of an attached gift, but a good one. So I don't know about you guys. This is my story. This is my invitation. I hope that if you haven't joined any of the schools, you are considering doing that. Will be the best investment that you will do in your life. Choose to have a coach that helps you along the way. You can claim me as your coach, you can claim someone else if you don't feel guided to work with me, that's okay. The important thing is that you choose to take these steps, and that you find us, that you find the space that we are holding for you, so that you can have your perfect heaven here on earth. You don't have to wait till you're dead to get it, you can just start now. And if you start it and continue doing it, because it's going to pay off. I told you, it's been long time, 2.5 years at least since I've known this work. 3 years since it all started to get me to meet Jeff and Shaleia, know their work, choose to invest myself in it, and get to this point. And this one is just a stepping stone of the many more to come. So okay, wow, thank you for sticking with me. I know the videos are a little bit longer than I'm used to creating, so thank you for like being here and sharing with me this amazing upgrade and breakthrough. And I hope that I learn about yours soon. So take care, guys, and see you. Okay, it's that time of day, don't worry. I hope to see you in the group and in my channel if you liked it, and I apologize for not making more videos in English about the twin flame journey, but I do consider you have more than enough videos to get you started, and so I'm bringing my focus to the Spanish group. So again, take care, guys, and we'll see you soon.